everyone, welcome to Software Testing Help. I'm Sharmila, and in this session, I'll show you how to configure and connect a real time mobile device with the system and the basic initial setup. Now, here is the list of initial configuration details that has to be set up in the mobile device before we try to perform automation on it. Generally, Appium doesn't do this initial configuration for us, so we have to do it for ourselves, and only then Appium recognizes the mobile device for automation. So, this is a very important part. Let us understand one by one. The first one is to enable debugging mode in mobile device. The reason for having this is generally when you try to connect a mobile device with a system, how does your system read or recognize your mobile device? It reads a mobile device as a hard drive, right? Or it recognizes it as a media storage device or file storage device. But having my device recognized as a media storage device is not going to help me for automation. Only when I change its reading mode to USB debug mode, Appium will recognize the device and have automation run on it. So that's the reason we should have USB debugging mode on in the mobile device for Appium to recognize the device for automation. Now this I can enable it using two methods. One is using developer options in settings of mobile device. Another one is using a software called PDA-Net Plus. I'll show you how that can be done. This is the desktop of my mobile device. I'll show you how to enable USB debugging mode through developer options. For that, go to settings and scroll down. You'll see something called developer options displayed. In case if you're not having this developer options, go to about phone and scroll down and dab on this build number 7 to 8 times. Okay, so once you're done with dabbing, you'll get a pop-up saying you are now a developer. But in my case, I already have this job done, so I've already dabbed it and made developer options open. So it is saying you are already a developer. Once you get the pop-up, go back and you will see developer options present under settings. Now click on developer options and then select USB debugging and give on OK. That's it. So next time when you're trying to connect the same mobile device with the system, your mobile device will be read in USB mode. So let me connect it now. I'm making a connection. You can see that it is connected as a USB storage, right? Now, in order to verify whether your system is recognizing your mobile device, just go to command prompt and type in this command adb devices, and it should list the device that you have connected. Okay. So this is one method. Another method is having a software install called PDA-Net Plus. For that, go to Play Store, install this application in your mobile device, and also have this installed in your desktop. So I have it installed in my desktop as well. So once that is done, go back to your mobile device, click on this PDA-Net application, and here select Activate USB mode. That's it. So next time when you try to connect it to your USB, your mobile device will be recognized in USB mode. So let me connect it now. Okay, I'm trying to make a connection. And here at the bottom right corner, you can see it is asking me to click here to connect to the PDA-Net. So if you're getting an error like your computer is running ADB, just go to command prompt and kill the ADB process. So give the command saying ADB kill server. And now try to connect again. Click on the server icon, connect USB, and it's connecting to the mobile device. Yes, now my mobile device is connected. Now again, in order to verify whether my system is able to recognize the mobile device, type in the command saying adb devices, and you can see that it is displaying the device name that I have attached. Okay, so this is very simple. You can connect or configure your mobile device with the system. One is using the developer options. Go to settings, enable the USB mode in developer options like this. Or in another method is go to PDA-Net Plus and activate USB mode. But this option, the first option that I told you, sometimes you'll get an error in your system saying the device driver installation was unsuccessful. So to avoid those errors, you have another backup plan wherein you can have this PDA-Net Plus and activate USB mode, and directly the connection is made. Okay, and to verify whether your ADB is installed or your mobile device is recognized by the system, just type in the command adb devices and your device will be listed. Just make a note of this device name because we will be using this for automation later. Just have it noted in notepad or something like that. So now we saw how to configure and connect a mobile device with the system. Next, we are free to automate on a mobile device. So before automating, we should first select the application on which we are trying to perform automation on. Now just consider I'm going to perform automation on a Facebook app, then what will I do? I just go to that Play Store, select that application and install it in the mobile device, and my application is ready. But what if in cases wherein my application is not present in Play Store at all? So instances wherein my application is not pushed to production at all, it is not rolled over to production, it is just in a development stage, but we are having features adding for each and every sprint, and I need to perform automation tests in order to ensure that every application or every feature is working in that particular application. So in that case, my developer will give me an APK file, and I will use this file in order to install the application in the mobile device. So this APK file is similar to exe file for a Windows. You know what is an exe file is, right? It's a kind of installer that helps you to install a software in your Windows. Similarly for Android, you have APK file for your application, and that in turn will help you to install the application in a mobile device. And for iOS, your uh, application installer will be IPA. So now I'll show you how to install a basic APK file mobile from your system to your mobile device. Now I don't have any APK file from the developer, rather I'm just taking it from the internet. I'm taking a random application saying IRCTC. I go to the internet and get the APK file. I download it, and I've placed all my APK file in my local machine in a particular location. Now, generally, what happens is that just consider I'm clicking on an application and I click on install. What will happen? You think that installation process happens automatically when this button is invoked. But what generally happens in backend is that when you click on this button, an APK file is invoked in Play Store. That in turn makes the installation in your Android device. So that is what we are going to do now. Instead of getting from Play Store directly, I'm going to take this APK file and have this installed in my Android device. So I'll show you how that can be done. Okay, so for that I first go to the location wherein my APK file is placed. It is in D colon. Okay, so this is where my APK application is placed, and I went to that particular path. And here I just need to call a simple command saying adb install followed by the APK file name. So before that, I should make sure whether my device is connected to the system. So I say ADB devices and verify whether my device is listed. Yes, it is listed. So now I will install ADB install. My APK file name is irctc.apk. You can see that, right? That is the file name. So I have my mobile device desktop open side by side so that you can see how the installation is happening. The installation is in process. So once it is success, you can see IRCTC application displayed here. So now you can see a success message here, and my IRCTC application got installed. So basically what happened, I had my APK file, and then using the command prompt, I called the command called adb install, and this in turn directly installed this application inside my mobile device. So this method you can follow whenever you don't find your application in Play Store and you get it from the developer, or even if you have it in your Play Store, you can just try it, get the APK file from internet and just try it from the system to get installed in your mobile device. Okay, so now I have my application installed and it is ready for automation. My device is also connected to the system. Now Appium has to recognize this application for automation, and only then it can perform automation on it. So in order to recognize this particular application, it has to read two parameters. One is the application activity name and the application package name. So these two activity and package name, I'll show you how to get those for this application. First, have the application opened in a mobile device, and then make sure whether your device is connected to the system. So for that, type in adb devices and see whether the device is listed. After that, type a command saying adb shell, and here I'll pass a shell command which will return me the activity name and package name of the application. So here I have my shell command which gave me the response. Just copy this and paste it in another notepad. So here this will be my package name com.irctc.main. The first one before the hash will be the package name, and the second one which is following the hash will be the activity name. Have a note of these two. for whatever application you're going to perform automation on. So this is how you should get the package name and activity name. First, have the application opened in your mobile device, and then run this shell command in command prompt, and your command prompt will give the response of package name and activity name for the currently opened application. So now we have the device name, mobile device that is connected, the application that you're going to perform automation on. So these details are sufficient for our Appium to recognize the device and continue automation. So next we'll see about how Appium can make a connection to the mobile device and how the automation proceeds. Now I'm going to write the automation code. I have a class. I'll initiate my driver. I'm going to declare my driver, and I'm going to store all the browser properties, device properties, and application properties in desired capabilities. So this will help me to talk to the Appium when the connection is made. So I create an object for this class. And using this object, I'm going to set all the properties. So I will create a basic method for this. I'm going to create a method called initConfig. So this I will call before every at test, which is before every test case. So I will put an annotation saying at test, and here is where I'm going to declare all the properties of my browser or my device or the application. So using the object capability, cap dot set capability will be my method, and here I'm going to pass the properties as a key value pair. Okay, so my key will be the value of the property, sorry, the name of the property, and the value will be the value of that property. So I will assign all the properties now. Now first is the device name. So for device name, I already noted it down from command prompt. We got the device name using adb devices command, and this is the device name that we got it. So I'll just put the device name over here. And for platform name, it is going to be Android because I am performing automation on an Android device. And for browser name, here if you're going to perform automation on your Android device, which in turn is having a Chrome browser, then you can put it as Chrome. But in my case, I'm going to perform automation on a native app, the application that I installed. So my browser name will be Android itself. Okay, and the version of the browser, just go to settings, click on about phone, and here you'll get the browser version. So my Android version is 5.1. So I will give that browser version here, sorry, Android version here. And the app package name and app activity name relates to the application that I'm going to perform automation on. This we already got it and we have noted it down. I hope you remember how we got this package name and activity name. We had our application opened side by side in the mobile device, and when it is opened, I ran the shell command saying current focus mfocused app, and this gave me the response, which in turn contained the application activity name and the package name. Okay, so that is what I passed it over here. So now all the details are ready. I will send these as command to Appium server, which in turn will help me to establish a session. Now these details I will pass when I am initiating the driver. So let me create a method wherein I'll write my main automation code. So here is where I'm going to write my main code. I'm going to initiate the driver equal to new. Generally we initiate a browser like this, Chrome driver or Firefox driver or IE driver. But in this case, my browser is not placed in this machine, rather it is placed in another mobile device, and it is an application. So I will call a remote driver, and here I will pass the URL of the Appium server, followed by the properties of the device and the browser and the application. Okay, so we'll just understand this once again. Now this is how you will initiate a driver from your local machine, or you initiate a browser in your local machine saying WebDriver equal to new Chrome driver off. Now the same driver you're going to initiate on your local machine using remote WebDriver. Then what you do, you just call the remote WebDriver followed by the server address. So if it is in your local machine itself, then you give your local machine server address, localhost followed by the port number, and then the properties of your browser. Okay, so this command can be written like this also using remote WebDriver. But in this case, my WebDriver or the browser is located in the local machine. So I just gave the local address. The same command using remote WebDriver, I want to run it on another machine or on another device. So what will change here? Only this server address is going to change. This server address will be whatever server that helps you to run the automation on that device. So in my case, it will be my Appium server address, followed by the properties is going to be the device name properties, the application name properties, the browser properties. So all the properties will be covered in these capabilities. So the main difference between running it on a local and running it on a remote is that the difference in your server address and the difference of your browser that you are invoking. So in this case, if it is a mobile automation, you will specify all the properties including the device name, the Android version, the application name. So if it is a Selenium grid, you just give the browser name. So mostly we will be using remote WebDriver invocation in cases wherein we use mobile automation and in cases where Selenium grid is invoked. When you are performing automation on your local machine, you generally don't use this command, but yes, you can use it, but the server address should be the local server address. Rather, we generally use the simple command saying WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so that is what we did it over here. We call the remote WebDriver and we pass the Appium server address followed by all the properties with which the Appium will recognize the device and make the connection for automation. Okay, so this is what we call as the client and Appium is our server. So Appium will be the server and the IP address of my Appium server, I just got it from settings from here, the server address and the port number, and that is what I passed it in my remote WebDriver URL. So we know that this is a client server architecture. This client sends commands to Appium in JSON format. So Appium will read these commands in JSON format. It recognizes that corresponding device, that corresponding application in my mobile device. So next it goes to the mobile device, recognizes the device and performs automation on this. So that is what, or that is how the client server architecture revolves around. Now this is the main configuration part of how Appium recognizes the device and makes the connection. After this, we'll just have to write the automation code. That's it. So in the next session, we'll see how to recognize the web elements inside the application, how to interact with web elements, the native app, and all those stuff. I hope you got a good understanding in this session. Thank you.